Welcome back to Livie'S Lovelies, your inspirational craft channel, and I'm your host, Fam the Fabulous. For more ideas, inspiration, swaps, and challenges, click the link in the description below to join our craft community, The Maker Exchange, on Facebook. Welcome back, all my artists, creatives, crafters, and makers. Welcome back to the Lovely Lab. Listen, I am pulling out some fabrics so that I can make the cover. Now, I'm just holding the camera right now in the beginning of this video because I don't feel like putting it on holder. But I pulled this out so that I could have a reference for the colors. And then I just went through my scrap and fabric bin to see which ones would go well with it. So we've got the polka dot teal. This is the last bit I got, but I love this one. I got some scraps with some threading. I think I probably used this to test my sewing machine stitches on. Then we've got this here one. We've got this little black and white check. It's very thin. We've got more of that khaki, yellow polka dots, yellow white, and then we've got some pink. So I'm going to use these fabrics to create the cover with, and then obviously I'll be embellishing it with, I think I'm going to use that as the focal point because it's just so cute, and him too. Alright, so stay tuned. Okay, so for some reason I thought that I had the camera on when I was pulling this fusible fusible fleece, and I didn't. So let me just go back over what I was saying before. So I took this macaroni box, cut it down to the size that I wanted to use. Let me just cut the rest of this edge off while I'm talking to y'all. And then I'm going to use fusible fleece to give the cover just a little bit of cushion, not too much. And I could have used there's a fusible fabric, but it's a little stiffer than the fusible fleece, and I wanted to kind of keep it. I wanted to give it a softer feel. The fusible fabric, it'll still be. It's just a matter of preference. It's not that big of a deal. But if we're coming down to preference, that's really where we're at. So I cut the box down into these three pieces. I could have kept the spine like this, but it was about 3/4 of an inch wider, and I did not want it that wide. I'm only doing 3 signatures, my goodness. So I have all three pieces, and let me make sure everything lines up. It does. Cut this edge off. So now what I want to do is I've cut the fusible fleece out of the yardage, and I need to cut it down just a little bit more so that it's actually smaller than the cover. And the reason why I say that is because if it's larger than the cover, when I iron the fabric onto it, as I go to wrap the fabric around, it'll be more so like this, if you will. When I've wrapped the fabric around, I don't want to wrap this around it because it will create bulk for the inner part of the cover. So I want it just a little bit smaller than the cover. So I need to cut this down a little bit, which I'm getting ready to do now. So I'll come back and show you once I have that, and then we'll move on to, well, actually I don't need to show you because it'll look just like this. It'll just be smaller. But when I come back, we will be selecting where we want the fabrics to go. So hang tight. Okay, so this is the pattern that I have went ahead and put down. The next step is to obviously iron it down to the interface. I hope I got that on the right side. Of course I don't. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to flip it all over. I'm gonna have to take a picture, flip it over, and do it again on the opposite side. So bear with me, stay with me. I'll be right back after I get finished ironing it. It might look a little different because, yeah. Anyways, stay tuned. Okay, so what we have here is I went on ahead and flipped over the fusible fleece. ironed it down in place so that I did not have to use pins when I bring it to the sewing machine. And I just intend to, add some additional stitching and to secure it down in place so that over time the fabrics don't come up, because it's on the fusible fleece, but it's not a permanent fix. It's just to kind of, one, give it a backing, and then two, help you keep it in place while you're quilting. It's kind of for quilting, but nevertheless. And now also I wanted to make sure that I give credit where credit is due. I was inspired to do this part of the journal cover, that's Josh in the background, y'all, from the paper tears here on YouTube. So if this is something that tickles your fancy, head on Josh and his gaming. It's Friday night, folks. If this part is something that you're interested in, head over to the paper tear so you can get more inspiration from her as well. All right, stay tuned. Okay, so I have gone ahead and glued the cover down to the cardboard, and it does close well, like I wanted it. I just didn't want it to be where once you laid it down it would pop back open. That's what I didn't want. And although I know once you put the pages here that it would hold it, you know, for the most part in place, I just wanted it to have the ability to close, or, you know, be more so like this without needing a closure. So just being able to pop it up on a bookshelf and keep it moving, or, you know, on a nightstand, or wherever you want to put it. Now, so here's the next thing that I want to do. Now let me just say this, shout out to all the journal makers, because this is my first time doing a journal cover in this fashion. So there are a lot of things that I would do differently. For one, I would definitely make sure that all of the pieces that I use, all the fabric, that they would be at least an inch outside of the cardboard. Okay, because when time comes for you to flip it over, you need enough space, enough fabric to hold in place with the glue. So, and I say that because if you look here, I had to take an extra piece of fabric, glue it back here, bring it around here, and glue it in place. Now I'm sure I can camouflage that in some form or fashion. I'm sure that I will. If not, it's not that big of a deal, but I'm just saying. 1 inch around the whole thing, at least. Yeah, I'd say an inch, three at the very least, 3/4 of an inch. And then also being careful with the corners. I definitely would make sure that when you miter your edges, you leave at least a 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch or so more out, because this is a junk journal. It being a little raggedy is not a big deal. Furthermore, you know, what you see right now is not what it's going to look like when we're done. Of course, we're going to cover the insides, but I'm not certain that I'll be able to get that covered. So we learn as we go, and as we go, we grow. So what I'm going to attempt to do now, just to secure all of the edges in place, I'm going to see if my sewing machine will accommodate the thickness of the fabrics and the cardboard. We will see. Okay, if not, then I'll go on a plan B, which is simply just putting paper on the inside. So bear with me. And here's another, you see what I mean? So I'm sure I can take care of these little issues with the cardstock that I plan on putting on the inside, but this is just things that I want to point out to you, because I didn't notice it, and I don't know if these errors were shown in anybody else's video. But if you're watching right now, there's no reason why you can't learn while I make all the mistakes and sweat and whatever. All right, so let's go around the edge. Let me see if I can go around the edge. I'm going to start off in the black area, just because if I make a mistake and I can't get all the way through, nobody's going to see it. And let me move make sure my stitching is decent. I want to go, yeah, we go with 3.5 on that, and then make sure that's all the way over to, because I want to as close to the edge as I possibly can get it. Okay, so let's see. We shall see. Bear with me, folks, and I'm gonna have to go slow so as not to tear up a needle. Okay, so far so good. This is the thinner fabric, so that ain't saying much. Here we go to the thicker. Oh, it's handling it okay. All right, so here we have the front or the back, whichever one I decide. I'm not sure. I'm thinking, oh really? Fire trucks. Oh gosh. Huh. They stopped in front of my house, but there's no fire here. All right, it's 4th of July, so who knows? And who knows when you'll see this video, but okay, so that's what we got. So this may very well be the front. I'm not certain. Or this one. Yeah, and I think this one is going to end up being the cover. Okay, so what I've done here is I have, just used this page as a reference for a 12 by 12 sheet. So I just pulled out a paper pad and went through and found one that had a majority of the colors that I needed. So this green is not really technically in the color scheme, but I mean, it's not that big of a deal, So I went on ahead and cut the 12 by 12 down in a way where I can lay this down first. I need one piece that will, because this is larger than 12 inches. So what I did was, so let me just show you what I mean. So this is 12 inches. So this ruler is 12 inches, obviously. This is about 13 inches. So what I needed to do was take the 12-inch piece, cut it down to size, use the excess top for the middle, cut this in half, and spread it out evenly, and then use the middle part to bridge the gap. Woo, was that enough explaining or what? So now all I'm going to do is just get to gluing, and I want to leave a decent amount of glue. I'm going to need a decent amount of, let me get something to glue on so I'm not gluing on my surface here. A decent amount of glue on the paper so that it can be flexible enough to bend into the crack and crevice of the journal. Okay, here it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is the cover. It is complete. I probably will, in future videos, go forth and put the closure on it. But for now, I'm not certain what type of closure I want. And I'm glad that I did not go and commit to the front or the back, because, and I'm also glad that I didn't try to go too precise in my creation of it, because there are some irregularities, like some of the fabric isn't quite covered right there. Not a big deal, because it'll probably get covered with some ephemera or something along that line. But for in the meantime, between time, I think this turned out really well. I'm looking forward to adding the signatures into it, so make sure you stay tuned to the next one, where I pull the pages that I used in the jelly prints, along with the ones that from the journal kits, Sonya's, Delisha, and mine, and some coffee dye papers, and turn those into some signatures to put into the journal. So, all right, thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you did, go ahead and hit that like button. All right. And if you are not a subscriber, then you know that if you're not a subscriber and you're still here, thank you. Okay. All right, people. Until we're back here together on YouTube, stay encouraged, stay blessed, stay creative and crafting. Bye for now.
If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Hit subscribe to join the crafty community, and be sure to click the bell for notifications of new uploads. Thank you so much for watching. Now stay tuned for more from Livie'S Lovelies, your inspirational craft channel. Bye for now.